Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. XDC is on our radar right now. Of course, one of our big projects here at the Wells of Wall Street portfolio. So guys, wanted to kind of talk quickly about a couple things, mainly in relation to some articles here that we have seen before. So it's not like majorly new as such. But I think what's really key here is relating this blockscan / Rosetta XDC network aspect to the fundamental relation to the likes of Coinbase. Now, this was back in the end of December. This is what got people interested in the fact that maybe, just maybe, XDC will be launched on Coinbase at some point in the near future. Now, what we've got in the last sort of few days, and certainly today, was the interesting aspect here of an article literally made 17 hours ago. So Blockscan integrates XinFin XDC network with Coinbase's Rosetta. So Rosetta, very much the API aspect of Coinbase, allowing the speed and efficiency of new tokens and things to be added to Coinbase, as well as other things in the background to help you allow transactions, view balances, etc. Loads of other stuff that they do. Now, we've gone from essentially the conversation about the integration, a middleware used to integrate blockchain into Coinbase has been implemented. Okay, so this was on 29th of December, but now we're going back to literally earlier today, if you like, just about. Depends on when you watch this video, of course, but Blockscan integrates XinFin XDC network with Coinbase's Rosetta. So it seems like it's been done. The announcements here, of course, through a multitude of different sort of waves here. But for me, this is really interesting because some people picked up a while back that you can read up on what is XinFin on Coinbase website, and it was very much everyone going like, wow, is this going to be listed soon? Oh my goodness. But we learned very quickly that many projects are listed on Coinbase in an article format. Just, I guess, it's just general SEO practice for these kind of platforms and companies to get people interested in stuff. But what I thought was quite interesting was, of course, that seeing that article a few weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago now, and now seeing this makes me feel like, and let us know in the comments below if you think the same or if you think that it's just not going to happen in any time soon. But this feels like that we are very close to having XDC listed on Coinbase. Now here's the official announcement by Blockscan. So the Rosetta interface, a middleware used to integrate blockchains into Coinbase platform, has been implemented for the XinFin XDC network by Blockscan in order to add XDC to the list of projects on Coinbase. So I don't know if I'm reading mine along the lines as such, but that's what was said on the 29th, right? We've now got information here suggesting that it's very much integrated with Rosetta. Now this article comes from Ivan Thomas. It's not like it's new news, but it's more like regurgitated, right? So here's the official announcement from a couple of weeks ago. It's been covered again recently. What is going on? So do you think XDC will be launched on Coinbase very soon? I've thought it for a while. I think XDC has been missing this tier 1 structure for some time. Now, as we mentioned in previous XDC videos, XDC is very institutional. The XinFin project itself, with the likes of Arthur Recorder and World Banking, etc. And I think it's doing a lot of things under the radar that perhaps many have missed. You can get a lot of people like myself holding a lot of XRP and XLM and all these older projects, but XDC is quite more advanced than these. That was one of the reasons why we got into the project, because of its interlacing with existing systems, what it's doing from a banking side of things, and who's behind this project as well. The marketing is slow on social media. As we've said in previous videos, this is kind of anticipated really in the fact that they don't need to be worried about us retail investors. They don't need to be worried about us. They're more worried about the institutional level of finance, and they'll for sure post stuff when they need to. But for us back here in the peasants end, if you like, we're kind of at the bottom of the pile for them. So all I would say to that is we're very fortunate to be able to obtain this amazing token moving forwards. And I think there's some big things certainly this year. We talked about like the Helvetia project and many others involving like the BIS and everything through Corda as well. We mentioned Corda because we know for a fact that XinFin is using Corda nodes. So there's definitely an interlacing aspect there. And I'm very intrigued to see if XDC does eventually get used as just maybe a currency or some form of tokenization when the Corda blockchains and everything move forward. But in itself, being a hybrid ledger, being able to cater for private and public ledgers, it's really got a massive advantage over many of the other projects out there. So we just wanted to retouch on that. But yeah, very interested to see that. So we've got this here, the open source Coinbase, one of the world's leading currency exchanges, as per an update on January the 4th. So literally a few days ago from this aspect here, confirming that it had indeed gone through. So what's going on here? What do you think is going on? Do you think we're going to see XDC soon? When do you think that's going to be? And my goodness, I've been holding XDC for some time. I saw, in fact, let's go into the chart. Actually, we can talk about that in a bit more detail as well. Also, very quickly, do make sure that you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. But here we go, very quickly on Bitcoin first of all, because obviously Bitcoin does have a fluctuation on many charts, but XDC doesn't seem to respond too fluently with Bitcoin's movements, which I find quite interesting. I think a lot of the fundamental projects out there don't, and when I mean the fundamental ones, I mean the ones in the background that are very interlaced. I'm not talking about your general ones like XLM and XRP. I'm talking things like Quant and all the top level projects that are already in play. XDC being one of them doesn't massively react to the moves of Bitcoin, but we'll go into that in a second because Bitcoin very much hitting this marker down here on the fib retracement level, hitting an area that we haven't seen since September. It was a bit of a concern for everyone earlier. I was watching it very closely earlier. A humongous battle between bears and bulls earlier today. It was actually phenomenal to watch it. But the bulls the bulls won just about, and I think very interesting days ahead. But pulling that conversation back into XDC, and the reason I'm bringing that up is purely because of the fact that we've had some pull downs today as well, albeit that we're kind of leveling off from the levels that we've seen over the last 48 hours anyway. So me personally, I'm putting a buy order in just under 8 cents. That's not to say we'll definitely come down to this area, but I'm really intrigued to try and obtain some more with that bit of saving. I've been buying XDC earlier today, been buying it the last few days because of these areas. I saw it take the rise up. I didn't make any moves in terms of selling. I was just waiting for it to come back down. I did know or believe it was coming down to at least 8.7 cents. But yeah, I was quite happy to see it come down a bit lower selfishly. I think we had a low, literally just 8 cents pretty much on the nose. So that's why I think we might have an area down here, just because on the indicators we're seeing some slight movement in a bearish mode still not, in my opinion, going to be completing this selling area for maybe a few days more at least. And also on the RSI, particularly on the 14-day, from these higher regions of 60, 70, which would have been a great opportunity, to be fair, for me to have sold based on that 14-day movement that we've had. But I left it. This is where we are. We're in the middle ground. That's why I'm saying I'm just wondering if Bitcoin maybe makes another low move. Like I said, XDC doesn't always completely follow it, but the general market situation at the moment is looking quite interesting, and a bit of a lack of confidence in some areas. So we've just got to keep an eye on that. But I think that's a good area for me to put a buy order in. But either way, great opportunity to be buying XDC still under 10 cents. I always say that. I was fortunate to be getting my XDC at very lower prices, like 3 or 4 cents. We see some great moves. I did take some advantage of when we got near the 20 cent mark, which is absolutely brilliant. So there's a long way to go for XDC, but I'm looking to the future. I'm really looking to the future of XDC in a few years' time when everything gets fully switched on. And I just think this one's so under the radar all the time. It's got quite a good following in terms of like community and social media members and stuff. But the grand scheme of things, what I quite like about it is the lack of information on social media. You have to go and digging elsewhere for the information, including their website, and that just shows you the level that they are. They're not fussed about us. No disrespect to us, they're just not fussed about us. We're just in a prime and fortunate position to be able to purchase this token. In general, I think there's just going to be big things being turned on over the next couple of years, particularly around CBDCs and the infrastructure of cross-border payments and this, that, and the other interlacing systems. I think XinFin's going to be one of the powerhouses behind it. So let us know what you think in the comments below. One, about the Coinbase listing potentially. Two, what have you been doing with XDC in the last couple of weeks? Have you been making moves on these nice tail ups and the drop downs? I certainly have been on this drop back down. And do you think we'll come back a bit lower? I'm really interested to see if we potentially break that support mechanism we have around 8.5, which we're currently under at the moment, which is why I'm just really thinking that we might just come back and test these areas once more, because we don't have a gigantic amount of touch points. But if you look back here in July, and particularly since that point, we took the big rise up, we dropped down, but then we didn't come back to those kind of areas till November, resisted, took ourselves back up, came back to this area, completely flopped it back up to that area. I think it's a really interesting move. If I can grab some at 8 cents on the nose again and very much just under, I would be extremely happy. But I think that might be one of the last times we see that before we might start finally tailing this up. If you actually look as well, before I wrap up as also, we tend to see over probably the last 6 months or so, more recently, more inflow of buying has been coming in than it has been outgoing. And I think that's something really interesting to take a look at. This might be a short turnaround. We might stabilize at this kind of like 8.5, 8.7 mark again, and then take ourselves up to new levels. But I'm looking forward to it. I think XinFin's going to be a powerhouse this year. We're going to do an update video on XinFin properly over the coming weeks, just to see what projects are coming out with them in this year. And I mean by projects, I mean like general banking, institutional level projects, not necessarily like ecosystem stuff. But this is definitely one of our favorites, and looking forward to seeing the development over the next couple of years. We're going to leave that there, guys. Thanks for watching this one. We will see you in the next XDC XinFin video. Take care. Bye-bye.